Bonjour, nous faisons bel matin, béni soit l'Éternel. If you didn't understand that, that's okay. Welcome to the International Commission Podcast.
Welcome.
This is Brooke and Bucky here. I said in Haitian Creole, good morning. It's a beautiful day. Praise the Lord.
Oh, that was Haitian.
Yes,
Nice.
sir.
Didn't
I mean,
know.
yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. In
Excuse
general.
me.
Yes, sir, to the audience in general, in the biblical sense of he. Yes, ma'am, to you.
Right.
This is off to a good start.
Well,
Brooke.
on that note, yep.
We're glad you're joining us today. It's going to be a fun one because I'm in a silly mood. So on this podcast, we talk about all sorts of topics as it pertains to missions, going on short-term mission trips, what our partners around the world do every day, all year to share the gospel and how we partner with them. We talk about funny things that happen in that realm, advice for going on mission or sharing the gospel in your neighborhood, and testimonies from people whose lives have been changed by the Lord and by growing his kingdom. So what are we going to talk about today, Brooke?
Welcome back, listeners and friends. For today's podcast, we'll be giving advice on what to take in your backpack during the day on a trip with IC. And weirdest gifts we've ever received. And then we'll be ending with a participant testimony. So let's do it.
Let's get into it. If you like this podcast, make sure to rate, review it, share it with your friends.
Take some advice.
So we're going to talk about what to pack in your backpack for a day of ministry, particularly on an international commission, international partnership. And so first we should probably talk about what exactly we do on those days to give some context for this for those who might not be familiar.
Yeah. So whenever we are on a trip, day to day, we're going to have house visits. And so we'll be going with the local churches that we're partnering with. And you will be paired with one person that's on your team, that's on the American traveling team. And you'll get to go to on house visits. And you will probably not stop back at your hotel or the place where you're staying until the evening. And so you'll want to be prepared for just going out all day, which, I mean, if you're here in the United States and you're going out all day, you want to be prepared and have things with you. But especially for an IC trip, because, you know, whenever you're overseas or you're not at home, you're just going to need certain particulars that are helpful for you, especially whenever you're traveling throughout the day.
And you got to be prepared for the weather.
Mm-hmm.
If it's different from the climate you live in, you got to be prepared to expect the unexpected.
Be prepared for toilets that are different.
Yes.
Than your own.
They may be very different.
Could be.
You just want to take things with you that are going to set you up for success, to be able to be as flexible as you can, as engaged in the ministry as you can, so you're not distracted by, I wish I had this, I wish I had that.
Correct.
So let's talk about some of those particular items that are useful, helpful, or even essential.
Yes. Also, good to keep in mind, a lot of times it is male and female pairing. And so, you know, girls, just in general, guys are not going to have what you need. Men, if you're with a woman, she's probably got something that you can use, but it's best for you both to be prepared. So.
But also, and especially if you know each other, if you're comfortable with each other, or you're just pragmatic enough to know when you're on the mission field, you just got to be practical about things. Team up. If you know you're going to be going out in pairs consistently throughout the week, you can strategize for who's going to carry what.
Yes, that is helpful. That's a good idea. Yeah. So what do you have? What are some things you have on your list?
So first of all, I wanted to mention what IC sends you as a participant, things that you, from the box that we send you from our office leading up to your trip. You'll want to pack the testimonies. And this is a customized brochure that is a gospel tract and your personal testimony translated into the local language and a conversation guide
Correct.
with a plan of salvation to help you have that conversation with someone. Maybe if you kind of get stuck in a conversation, or even if you just need kind of help remembering verses or leading someone through a prayer, or even sometimes if you're out without your translator or
Yeah.
you just want to give them a break, you can still use this bilingual conversation guide
Mm-hmm.
to walk someone through a list of yes or no questions with some scripture and a prayer. So that's really helpful to have. It also has a response card built into it. So if you take those testimonies with you, you give them out at home visits so that someone can take a written copy of your testimony that you're going to share with them, and they can keep that and read over it later, remember your visit. But also on the back of it, there's a little response card you can tear off and leave with the church members that you're working with. So if that person decides they want to hear more, they have accepted Christ and need follow-up, discipleship, they can fill that out and leave the info with the church. So it's kind of a multi-purpose guide, but those are really helpful. You'll just want to take, depending on how many visits you'll have during each day, but you'll want to just ask your local partners, hey, how many visits are we going to have the next day? Bring however many you think you're going to need instead of the whole stack of like 200 of them.
Yeah, don't do that.
They add weight.
They do.
So that's usually what I'll do is day to day, I'll throw another maybe, 30, 50 of them in there.
Yeah.
Because your partner also has theirs and you can kind of swap back and forth on who's sharing and giving them out.
Yep.
What we refer to as the yellow book. It is your record of decisions for your particular church team. So everybody gets one in their box. But once you get there on the field, you get to the opening rally, you get assigned to your church, you meet them, discuss with them, you know who your partner is and who your church partner is throughout the week. Just bring one of those with you for your team and record your team's visits and decisions and things like that. There's also journals that we provide, and you can write down stories and highlights throughout the week or bring your own journal. So a lot of people have a journal that they journal in for a daily Bible reading or just life, keep it as a diary. Or you might want a special journal just for mission trips and travel. But I actually am more prone to just take notes on my phone.
Me too.
And then transfer them to a journal later. But just because I write slow and sloppy, honestly.
Yeah.
But you'll want a journal to record what's happened. And you can look back on it, remember people's names and pray for them, or just every once in a while go back through and read your stories and relive what happened. You just tend to forget.
Yeah. In your box that you'll receive from IC, you'll also have new believers booklets.
Yep.
And so these are great to hand out to new believers. And it kind of goes through a few, I guess, discipleship, Bible stories and things like that. And so those are nice to have. You also receive an EvangeCube, a way to share the gospel. And so if that is your preferred method, bring it. Make sure you have it with you in your backpack. And then I think now people are starting to receive 3 Circle stickers. And so if you want to bring those, I don't know how many are given, but that's helpful to have too, especially if you want to give those to people. If you meet a believer, or if you share the gospel and they become a believer and they want one, you can give one to them. And so those are things that come with your box that should be in your backpack as well.
You might also get what we call the gospel pictures. You might get a deck of gospel pictures. It's a small, little poster, and each one is a painting from a Bible story that helps you share the gospel. And those are usually useful in Asia. Really, they're useful everywhere, but I think we mostly use them in Asia. But depending on where you're going, you might get slightly different combination of things in the box. But those are the basics, and of course, use whatever works for you, whichever of those you're strongest in. I take the EvangeCubes no matter what. Sometimes I don't end up using it at all during the week, but I will train someone and give it to them. And people are always really excited about those and like to learn it and have a tool. I like to also bring, I know you do too, Brooke, like to bring a little whiteboard, like just a
Yes.
small one, so you
Mhm.
can draw things out. I'll draw the three circles on that. I'll do the bridge, or I mean, all sorts of, whatever kind of strikes you for the conversation. But
Mhm.
usually it's something like an evangelism illustration.
Yeah, on that you can bring a small marker board. They're really cheap at the store, and a marker. You can also bring a note, just a notebook and a pen, and so
Yeah.
you can draw out the three circles, even rip it out and give it to them so that they can see it and they can even practice it. Either one of those I think is really good. Drawing things out and showing is just really helpful, especially in different cultures and languages and everything. Having visuals, especially if you're working with a translator who, again, we kind of talked about working with translators before. Having a picture to kind of show what you're talking
Hmm.
about is probably helpful for not only the person who's hearing the gospel, but the person who's translating as well, to kind of understand what you're referring to. And so,
Totally true. It gives them something to point to, kind of anchor the conversation. I think that's always helpful, something to for them to refer back to. Also, in some cultures, depicting God or Jesus in any form, like on the Evangel God is represented as light, but there's
Mhm.
images of Jesus. Sometimes that can be really offensive to them or
Oh,
off-putting. And the same with the gospel pictures, that can be a barrier sometimes.
okay.
So being able to draw something out like three circles
Mm-hmm.
is better in that situation because there's still something visual, something interactive, but you're not adding a barrier or a complexity there.
Yeah, wow. That's good to know.
So, oh, pins. So of course, if you're
Pins.
if you're gonna draw something on the notepad,
Need a
and
pen.
of course if you're gonna use the testimonies, you need a pen so people can
If you
write
don't,
their
you're going to be
responses.
doing some origami
Yeah.
sharing the
Well,
gospel.
which, hey,
Maybe we should learn
that's
some origami,
yeah, I'm
honestly.
sure that's a thing, especially in Japan. I bet somebody's
Ooh,
already doing that. I'm gonna look it up.
surely there's origami
Yeah,
gospel
that's pretty
somewhere.
clever.
Yep. So some other things to have in
Yep.
your backpack is I like to bring my reusable, refillable water bottle, and mine is stainless steel, and so it can keep drinks cold or hot if I am bringing a hot drink, but I don't imagine I would. But to have water, especially if you're in hot climates, if you have just a plastic water bottle, it's gonna make your drink pretty warm pretty
Yeah, and
quickly.
that's
So
gonna be gross later on.
yeah, and so particularly having a bigger water bottle is helpful, especially if you're going to be gone throughout the day. I also like to keep a few extra plastic water bottles in my backpack just to refill my water bottle throughout the
To
day.
refill them or to give them to your national partners,
Oh yeah, that's a good
because a
idea
lot of
too.
times I've noticed that my interpreter isn't drinking water and they're talking a lot.
Oh yeah, dry mouth,
And
man.
yeah, and the thing is they might not be used to doing that because they're used to their climate and everything, might just not
Yeah,
drink a lot of water. But if they're talking all day,
yeah, and we want to encourage hydration, of course.
always, that's right.
Also, being prepared for different bathroom scenarios. So, bringing a small pack of toilet paper would be really
Absolutely.
helpful. Hand sanitizer as well.
Yep, got those on my list too.
Yep. And then being ready for weather. You mentioned that. So, having a rain jacket, particularly when, there's some rain jackets that fold into themselves or have a little pocket. And those are really nice because rain jackets are thin. And so, if you're slightly cold, that's helpful. But if it's pouring down rain, that's also helpful. And so,
Or you can also take a little fold up plastic poncho.
yes, that
Sometimes they
too.
come in a pouch and they'll fit in your backpack. I always bring a rain jacket, but
Yeah,
I have a poncho as a backup.
good. I also have snacks. Snacks are good.
Amen.
Yeah, I'm a
Take your
snack
snack.
person, and they may give you wonderful food and you won't need to eat those snacks, but they might give you some questionable food and you will need snacks between
Yeah.
visits. So, having those comfort snacks
And you
are
might
really
just
helpful.
need a little protein punch at some
Yes.
point during the day to keep you going, especially if you have jet lag.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. Whenever bringing snacks, make sure you bring protein filled snacks. Beef jerkies or even some nuts and trail mix, things like that that have some protein in them will be helpful. Yep.
Yep, yep.
What else do you got?
Make sure you bring some sunscreen and bug spray.
Yeah, that's a good.
Whatever kind of bug spray you prefer. You might not be able to get it locally. If you can get it locally, it might not be something that you want.
I personally
Um,
like the essential oil bug sprays. Those are
yeah,
really good.
give me some
So,
of the eucalyptus lemongrass stuff.
amen. Yeah, smells
So I
strong.
bring my own because I've found that kind of hard to find
Yeah.
other places. Bring some shades,
Oh yeah,
or
sunglasses.
if you wear glasses or contacts, maybe have some prescription ones,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Bring those. A sun hat,
Yeah.
even if you don't like them, if you feel like you kind of look ridiculous. If you're going to be out hoofing it out in the sun between homes, between villages, you really, really don't want to get sunburned on a mission
Yeah.
trip. It's extra
And
risky.
also, if you're an American just walking around a village with a huge backpack, anyways, you're already kind of ridiculous looking. So
They
might as
already
well
know.
just, they already know you're a
They already
foreigner.
see you. Yeah.
And
Don't
they
worry about it.
probably don't care what you're
No,
wearing, anyways. You care way more about what you're wearing.
that is true. That is true. I always bring a bandana as well, just for sweat. And if I'm going to be out in the sun a lot,
Mhm.
first I'll ask and make sure it's okay.
Yeah.
Like sometimes headbands or certain colors and things mean something. So, but if that's fine, roll it up, wrap around your head, keep some sweat off.
Yeah.
It makes me feel a lot better not to have sweat running down my
Yeah.
face. That's all I put on my list. I think we covered it all except for little gifts.
Oh, yeah.
So I like to always come prepared with little gifts to give out to, especially the pastor that I'm working with, my interpreter, church members, if they go with us, multiple days. Just little tokens, little thank you gifts. And what I like to bring is things that represent where I live.
Mm-hmm.
People always really enjoy that. And it's something simple like a sticker that's
Magnet.
Texas. Yeah, stickers, magnets, keychains, things like that you would think are just not very special or charming. People love those. Any
Yeah.
kind of gesture of a gift, something that represents where you're from, people really like that because then they can remember you. They can
Mm-hmm.
remember what God did during the week. They look on that and they can, tell their friends about, hey, when there was this time when I had these American friends come and they believe in the same Jesus and we went around sharing Christ with people. And it's a good conversation starter for them too.
Yeah. I also put money for travel. So if you need to get a taxi, you don't want to just depend on your translator or the church members to pay for everything. I think it's good to at least offer to pay for a taxi if you have to take one. Portable phone charger might be helpful depending on if you are talking to your trip leader or talking to someone else on your team. You might want to have a portable phone charger.
Sometimes you're going to be going on a really long bus ride, maybe on a train or something like that, and you're not going to have an opportunity to charge your phone. Or these days, I've found it a lot more common that I'm communicating directly with the church members or interpreter that I'm working with.
Yeah.
When you split at the end of the day and need to meet back up and talk about plans and stuff, you need to be able to stay in touch. Or sometimes even out on the field, you might divide up and need to meet back or contact home base, your coordinator, trip leader, or other team members to talk about what's going to happen in that evening, or just if problems come up or whatever. You might not think you're going to need your phone on trip, but it does come in handy, especially if you have an international plan or it's unlocked and you can use a local SIM card. It's a good idea to have it charged. Also, you want to take pictures.
Yes, of course.
And maybe take notes, maybe use the Bible app on your phone and
show pictures of your family. Yeah.
People always love to see pictures of your family. So, and then other normal stuff that you do on your phone besides scrolling social media.
Yes.
Because you don't want a distraction.
And then the last thing is your passport. I don't like leaving my passport. I like to keep it with me, but especially in a very secure part of my backpack. So either at the very bottom or in a hidden pocket or something, just keeping your passport with you. Also, if you're in certain countries, people may stop you. You may be stopped to be asked about passports or identification and everything. And so you want to have that ready with you.
That's a good call. That's kind of an elementary one there. And you mentioned it. That's funny.
Something else I thought of real quick for my contact wearing friends. bring your contact case with some solution in it, because if you have a really long day or you get something in your eye, and if you have to take it out for some reason, it's always in the most inconvenient time. You want to be able to be prepared. So having, just some hand sanitizer, especially non-alcoholic if you wear contacts, having some hand sanitizer and your contact case can really help you not be very uncomfortable or have to lose a contact. And that will be a pain if you do. So
That'd be pretty bad. Maybe if you go out with contacts during the day, bring some glasses as a backup too.
yes, that's a good idea too. But in your Mary Poppins bag, this
That's
is
right.
all the things you
People
should
are like,
bring.
how am I going to fit all this stuff? Well, most of these things don't actually take up that much room.
They really don't.
Also, we're telling you from experience because we do this, that it's all going to fit. It's going to be fine. Also, you can divide things up with your partner, like I said earlier. You don't have to carry all of it all in one bag, but you can make sure you have all these items available.
Flip a coin.
So that, so that you don't get distracted by little needs that come up.
Right.
All right, let's go on to our next segment. I mentioned gifts. So speaking of gifts, we're going to talk about the weirdest gifts that we've ever been given. The worst.
Okay, for this next segment, we're going to talk about the weirdest gifts we've ever been given on an overseas trip. We asked some people, and apparently it's not super common to receive weird gifts, or they don't think that they're weird. It's all a matter of perspective, I suppose.
I guess so.
But I found this very funny because I've been given some odd gifts whenever I've gone on trips. And so I think we should talk about it. So I had asked quite a few people, and they're like, I haven't really received any weird gifts. I've loved all the gifts I've been given. But I did have one, and you might have some.
I thought of some, yeah.
Okay, so one of our coworkers, Shara, she helps in kind of coordinate some of the North America partnerships. She had a funny one of something she was given to eat as a gift. She said, once while visiting the home of a Russian doctor, I was given caviar. She said she knew that we ate it every day in America. And she was shocked when I told her I've never even tasted it and would not have any idea how to eat it. She opened the container, brought out thick slices of bread, slathered them with butter, and told me to eat. Everyone in the room loved it, so I insisted that they enjoy it. And she said, my face gave me away. I'm sure I did not like it at all. And I thought this was so funny that this Russian woman just assumed, she just knew that everyone in America ate caviar every single day.
We're over here with our caviar and our Rolls Royces.
I know, yeah.
That's all we do.
Yeah, that's all we do, right? I have you ever had caviar?
I have, and you know why?
Why?
Because I was in Eastern Ukraine, and that's what people gave us as a little snack. No one ever said they assumed we eat it every day, but maybe they did.
Maybe they did assume. I have had it one time, and it was at a very expensive and fancy restaurant, and so that was the only time. It is not an everyday thing. I actually looked up how much caviar costs. It is so expensive.
Yeah, and I'm sorry if anyone out there, if you love caviar, but I don't get it.
I don't either. I had it. It was strange. It was just a tiny bit, but it
kind of tastes like seawater, and I don't know why it's so expensive.
No. I think it's one of those things, it's a matter of perspective. That's what happened with lobster. Did you know that it used to be a poor man's food?
Yeah. It's a big bug that lives in the bottom of the ocean.
Right. Yeah. It's not as glamorous when you think about it like that.
Oh.
But then it became cool, and slather it in melted butter, and it's expensive now.
It is pretty good in butter. Maybe I should have put butter on my caviar. Maybe that's what you're supposed to do.
That's what they said on here. I mean, she slathered some butter on bread, so maybe
we were missing that element. Maybe.
Yeah. Okay, what do you have though? Did you poll anybody for any gifts?
I did. Okay, so Penny said she's gotten some large gifts that she's had to try to fit in her luggage going home.
Okay.
And I've had that kind of thing happen before, and you're just like, I appreciate this gift, but now I have to try to fit it in my suitcase, and I'm already over weight and oversized. I can't just carry this on. She said, I did receive the literal shirt off a lady in Mongolia. She saw everyone on the team get a piece of clothing made for them except me. She went to the bathroom and took off her shirt to give to me So I too would have a hand-sewn item.
That
I've
is
never
so
more,
kind.
I've never been more humbled to receive a gift.
That is a very kind
Now,
gift.
so that's a kind gift. Like that's very nice,
Yes.
but it was awkward.
Yeah. Okay. My question is, did she have a backup shirt
I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah. Hopefully she had a jacket
I
or
hope
something. I
so.
don't know.
Yeah. She put her hoodie on.
Yeah. It's okay. Yeah. I always kind of made fun of people who wore hoodies and no shirt underneath, but I guess I can't really make fun of somebody who is giving the shirt off their back
Yeah.
for someone who.
Yeah, it's the last time you did that, high and mighty.
Yeah.
Jesus said if you have two coats, give one away, but giving away the one coat, that's for sure.
Yeah. One shirt.
That's pretty humbling.
It is.
JT was gifted a banya hat.
What's that?
Do you know what that is? It's a special, very silly looking, that's culturally insensitive, felt hat that you wear in a sauna in Russia.
Okay.
And he was polite about it, but asked if maybe he could trade it for a ball cap. That wish was granted, but he got to keep both of them.
That's nice.
He was just like, I appreciate this and the cultural representation here, but I'm not going to use it.
You still keep
I would wear that ball cap.
Okay, I looked up what it looks like. Yeah, it is a felt hat to wear in a sauna. Man.
Yep.
Really
Look up a
setting.
sauna hat or a banya hat, Banya, and you guys can see what it looks like.
That's fun.
Grace was also given a nice gift, just too much of it. And in Peru, she was given chifles upon chifles. And chifles are very, very thinly cut banana chips. They are delicious.
Yes.
And in Peru, or at least up in northern Peru, in Peru, where we were, they're kind of their pride and joy, along with their style of ceviche. Chifles are their big thing, their favorite snack. And sure enough, you walk down the street, every vendor has bags of chifles.
Wow.
But she was gifted them by so many people that she didn't know what to do with them all to bring them home. So sometimes that's what happens. And it's not the gift itself that's a problem. It's just how much of it.
The amount. That's when you start giving it away to friends.
Yeah. The generosity is above and beyond.
Yes.
Laura tells a story about, well, you get to choose. She told me a story about mall pizza or a cow tongue. Which should I tell?
Cow tongue, for sure.
Cow tongue. All right. So she was in Nicaragua. Oh, you need this context. Laura is from Brazil.
Yes.
She was on a trip in Nicaragua. They told me they were serving cow tongue to the national participants, but chicken to the Americans. I told them that I ate cow tongue many times in Brazil, and I was totally fine eating it there. They brought me a plate, and I realized they didn't peel off the top layer of the tongue as we do in Brazil. So I was eating the tongue that had grazed and eaten all the stuff that cows eat without the proper preparation. I could feel these kind of thorns in the tongue, I guess a natural thing that helps them taste the food, scratching my throat as I swallowed it.
Oh, no.
It never happened in Brazil because we peel all that off and only eat the inside meat. It was the only day in my life when I wished I had not told anyone that I liked eating something. I should have kept my mouth shut. She should have held her tongue, maybe.
Yes, indeed. Should have held your tongue in that scenario. Or at least viewed what it was before, taking
You just don't know. Someone tells you, hey, we're going to give you this and something you like, and you say, oh, yeah.
That's like in America. You just go to certain parts of America and they say, hey, we have this specific food. You should not expect it to taste the same as
barbecue.
Barbecue. That's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah, I remember I was on a mission trip in Canada for a few weeks, or a part of the summer actually, and they were advertising like, yeah, we're going to have a barbecue. And barbecue is not barbecue here. They call a cookout a barbecue. Yep. And so it was just hamburgers and hot dogs. And I said, this is not a barbecue. This is not what barbecue is. Barbecue is pulled pork and ribs and barbecue sauce. And so, yeah, they just different terms.
Yeah. Or it may be barbecue prepared differently.
Yes.
You go to North Carolina or Kansas City or Memphis, and they all swear they have the best, and
Right.
it's
They all do.
different. And so if you live in one place and go to the other and expect something else, you're going to be surprised. Maybe
Right.
pleasantly, maybe unpleasantly, but
Yeah.
it will be different.
It will be.
Sometimes you don't know. All right. What about you?
Okay, so I have a few funny ones. Whenever we were in Bolivia for IC, the church gave us so many gifts. They gave us, a t-shirt that had things on Bolivia on it. They gave us the cowboy hat. I don't know why. That wasn't the weirdest one. They gave me an emoji pillow. It was just a round pillow, and it was yellow, and it had the heart eye emoji on one side, and on the other side, I can't remember what it said. It said either "Eres mi amor" or "Te amo mucho." So either like "You are my love" or "I love you very much." And it wasn't very Bolivian at all. I don't know
Yeah.
why. I was like, this is American, if anything. It was really funny, and so I kept it for a while, but I never used it. And so that was a funny one that I got. Another one I got in Bolivia was a love note from my
Oh, boy.
translator. Yes.
Mm.
So he gave it to me. He had kind of confessed some feelings for me about halfway through the week. It was only Wednesday at this point. And so I didn't know what to do with that. I had no idea what to do with it.
That's definitely a recipe for an awkward situation.
It is, especially if you, I thought, if you're going to confess your love, you should probably do it at the end of the week. But that's just my opinion.
He didn't want you to be the one that got away. He had to let you know, right away so he could start making plans.
I guess so, but he gave me the love note at the end of the week. And
okay.
So he confessed feelings Wednesday, gave me a love note Saturday. We said our goodbyes. It was quite funny, but it was folded in a very nice little way, and he drew a little heart on it. It was all in Spanish and everything. I think I still have it just because it was funny to me, and I'd be able to show my kids one day. A Bolivian gave me this love note, but the last weird gift that I've been given was by far the weirdest. So it was whenever I was in China, and they loved giving us gifts. And a few of the girls had given me, Hello Kitty phone cases and everything that didn't fit my phone. I was like, oh, thank you. It's so sweet. But one girl, she gave me a chicken neck. Yeah, a chicken neck.
Nice.
I know. And it was in a package like you could buy at a convenience store. And I think she did. And so, because I had gone to a convenience store a few days after that, and I saw the exact chicken neck there in the store. And it's funny, I actually still have it in the package. Gross. I know. I never opened it. I never opened it at all because it was just in the package, and it's at my parents' house.
Is this like dehydrated?
I guess I think it might be pickled possibly because it feels kind of slippery inside of it.
It's so appetizing.
I know, yeah. But she gave it to me, and I didn't know what to do. And so I just said,
I would not know what to do either. Are you supposed to cook with it or eat it?
I don't know. I'm really glad she didn't expect me to eat it right there, though.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would have done. But that was probably by far the weirdest gift I've ever been given. So
that beats mine, I think. But I've got a few examples.
Okay. Let's hear them.
Family photos.
Okay.
Which is really sweet.
Oh, someone else's family photos?
Yes. Someone gave me some of their family photos. This was, I should set this up more. This was at a home visit. And so we'd shared the gospel with this family. They accepted Christ, and they just were undone just with gratitude and they were very emotional. And they just wanted to give me something. And I, told them, you don't owe me anything. I'm just here representing the Lord. I'm just really glad to meet you and be able to share this with you. But they insisted that I take something. And so a lot of times you may be in a situation where someone either is just unprepared or doesn't have the means to give you much of anything.
Right.
And they will find something to give you. Well, what they found was some family photos, and it was like baby pictures, wedding pictures. I really hope they had duplicates of, but I didn't know what to do. And actually, in the moment, it was really awkward because they were handing me these photos and I wasn't sure why. Was I just supposed to look at them or keep them?
Yeah.
And, actually anytime someone hands you photos of their family, you don't know what to do anyways. I'm not
Right.
sure what face to make or what to say here. Like, "Oh, how nice, how beautiful, how," I don't know. But I was supposed to keep these. They made it clear, patting my hands and all this stuff. And I didn't have anything of the sort to give them.
Right.
And so the whole thing was weird. And I didn't know who any of the people were. And anyway, yeah, I
That
was in
was
Ukraine, and it was just
a
kind of
lot
off.
that happens in Ukraine.
Yeah. It wasn't that weird per se, but the situation was very uncomfortable. And then I didn't know what to do with the pictures.
Yeah.
I brought them home. I might still have them. I felt really bad throwing them away.
Seriously. Yeah. Oh man. One of the guilt throwaways.
Yeah.
I
Oh, that's
can't throw
rough.
this away.
Also in Ukraine, of course,
Of course.
I was given too many apples, sort of like Grace's story with too many banana chips. I got too many apples. Every place we went in a couple of different villages, the people gave me apples. I guess it was apple season and they had a bumper crop and were giving it to me. But some of them I have endearingly named Chernapples
Chernobyl.
because we were up in the region where Chernobyl is, and actually eastward of there where, winds would have blown years ago and maybe affected the ecology. I don't know, but these apples were like the size of small pumpkins. They were
Whoa.
ginormous. And they were huge apples.
No
I was a little bit
steroids.
nervous to eat them,
Yeah.
but I also just got a lot of them. So I got 3 or 4 of those huge apples and just a bunch of normal sized ones. And I would take them back to my room every night and just sit them on this table because I'm not going to eat all of these apples.
Yeah.
So that got awkward by the end of the week. I didn't know what to do with all of these apples. I ended up trying to give them to the pastor's family. That was my host for the week. And they were like, no, those are for you. Those are gifts from the people. Those are for you. So I tried to explain, I'm not allowed to bring these back to the United States.
I know.
And as good as they are, I cannot eat all of them before I go to the airport. So apparently I just didn't eat enough apples during the week.
I guess. I think I had something similar now that you say it, maybe in Bolivia or Jordan. I can't remember. I think it was peaches though. They gave us bags of peaches each. One of those things. And I don't even know if I was the biggest fan of peaches at the time. And I just didn't know what to do about it. I was
Yeah.
like, I'm not going to eat all of these.
I've been given fruits that I don't know how to eat and wasn't even sure how to Google how to eat them because I don't know what they're called.
Yeah.
And
Sometimes they don't have English names even. And so
I don't. And of course, I'll always ask, what's this called? And I can't understand what they're telling me.
Right.
And yeah, then they don't know how to spell it in our script. And
Yeah.
But I hate to waste food. I especially hate to waste food when I know people need it and they're giving it to me.
Seriously.
So that's what makes that.
Yeah.
kind of
Like
weird.
I appreciate your kindness and your generosity so much, but you keep it. It is better for you to keep it than for me because it will go bad because I will not eat 50 peaches today.
The
Or-
other reality is sometimes fresh fruit and vegetables can make you sick as a traveler.
It's
And
true.
you just don't want to eat it. So there's so many factors that make it hard to happily accept fruit.
But I
especially
trust
if it's
that
too much.
if they're believers, the Lord will reward them for their generosity.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm always grateful for the gesture.
Yes.
All right. I've had some that are just kind of off the wall. In Haiti, I've had kids try to give me balloons, which is nice, right?
Nice. Yeah.
But maybe not after they've been blowing them up and releasing them for an hour.
Yeah. No, not those.
Maybe if you blow it up one last time and tie it and give it to me, maybe.
Their spit is still in
No,
the
I'm not-
remains on
I'm
it.
not sure
yeah.
I want it. One time, I really hope they don't listen to this. Our partners in Spain took us to the beach one day, which was awesome. It was
Yeah.
kind of our rest day. Took us to the beach, and after a while, they decided that I had not brought my sun hat, and I needed one. So they were over lunch. I kept insisting, yeah, we'll go get you a hat. We'll go get you out of the store over there. I thought, okay, that'll be really nice. I'll take that home. It might be kind of hard to figure out how to travel with it, but that'll be nice. It's something I'll keep and can remember this trip. It'll be great. This will be a really meaningful gift.
Right.
A
Yes.
practical one. I'm very excited. We go over to the store. I'm looking around in the store. A lot of these hats are surprisingly expensive. I guess because we're in actually more of a touristy area than we usually are. And I finally pick out a hat. I'm kind of trying to go for, a cheaper one because I don't want to, when someone's buying you a gift, you don't want to make them spend, too much money. So I found one that was kind of reasonable, but I thought still kind of pricey. We go up to checkout and they do not follow me up to the cashier. This is when I realized I'm buying this hat. They were insisting that I get one so I don't sunburn, but they were not offering to buy me a hat.
Oh,
so now I'm here with this hat that I did not intend to buy, and it's too expensive, and I got to go through with it because what do I do now?
Yeah, they brought you there. You're at the counter, and I wouldn't have the courage to not go through with it either. I couldn't do it because you don't want to say like, oh, I expected you to buy it, so that's why I came. Because then they'll be like, oh, we'll buy it for you. Yeah, you don't want to do that, man.
And I will sunburn.
Me too.
So I had to have the hat. So I bought it. I still have it. I like it, but yep, it was not a gift.
Not a gift. Weird situation where you bought a gift for yourself, though.
I did. I bought myself a nice hat. Thank you very much. I'm welcome.
Nice. Is that all your weird gifts?
That is all I can think of at the moment.
It's story time.
For our last segment, Bucky has a participant testimony to share with us.
All right. This is a story from Tom, who went to Peru with us last year, about a family, a unique situation, really, about a family that he visited and then ended up attending their funeral.
On Monday of this week, the pastor wanted us to go visit this lady in her home who was ill with the breast cancer. And so we went to her home, went back to her bedroom, and she was sitting up, and two ladies were with her. And so I had a chance to talk to her and just encourage her, pray with her. And I wanted most of all to ask her if she was ready to meet the Lord. And so she shared, yes, she had accepted the Lord and was ready to meet God if that happened. Well, 2 days later, we found out that on Wednesday morning she had passed away. We went to her home where here in Peru, they have a custom of having a body there in a casket. And so we went to talk to family members, encourage them. And then the next morning, which was Thursday morning of this week, we went back to the home, and her only child was a man named Junior. And so we prayed with him and encouraged him. And I said, I know how it feels to lose a dad. And that hurts. And so we prayed for him, prayed for his comfort, and prayed for his peace. And I asked if I could share a story how God gave me peace and joy. And so I shared the gospel with him. And I said, do you want that for your life? And he was, during the entire conversation, he was sitting there tense and very emotion-driven. Yeah. And I asked the pastor to come and to lead him through that prayer. And the man he finally just broke down, and all of his emotions erupted. And it was a God moment to see the repentance and the joy and the passion that he had for Christ in that moment.
We don't grieve like those who have no hope.
Amen.
Because of the Lord. And I think this story just really illustrates God's goodness and nearness and sovereignty, because what else can you attribute the timing of this to, or except for the Lord and his plan,
I was actually listening to an Elizabeth Elliot podcast this morning, and she said, in regards to death or in regards to sickness or whatever it may be, things the Lord isn't doing for us, she says there's nothing that the Lord does to you that he's not doing for you. And so I thought that was really good and kind of relevant to this as well. The Lord didn't do this to this son for no purpose at all. He didn't take mom at this specific time, but he did it so that, at the perfect time, whenever this team was here, so that he could hear the gospel. And so there's nothing that the Lord does to us that he's not doing for us.
It's amazing to think about. I mean, there's things in the story that we don't know.
Right.
How much had his mom witnessed to him before?
Mm-hmm.
We don't know that, but what we do know is how the Lord works to lead people to himself. She probably had sowed seeds and watered them, and that's what Tom got to do as well. And this was the moment for him to realize that he needed to know what his destination was, and he needed the peace and comfort that he heard about.
Yeah.
And so that's just a really cool thing. That week, it so happened that the team that was there that week got to share words of comfort and hope with people that were very familiar with loss and death, because right now, and especially last summer, Peru has been really hit hard by an epidemic of dengue fever.
Wow.
And especially in some of the rural areas where they don't have much access to medical care.
Yeah.
People will get dengue fever and not have any treatment. And so they had just seen a lot of death from COVID-19. They were then seeing a lot of death from dengue fever. And there was just kind of an air, kind of a dark cloud hanging over that whole region where people were just so familiar with death and were hurting. I got to personally see so many people touched by the gospel.
Yeah.
Because they were looking for hope and meaning and salvation.
Right.
And so God put us there in such a time to be able to partner with the local believers that had been witnessing to them to be able to do that.
That's so cool.
And it was cool.
That is. Amen.
There are people in your life, I guarantee, that also need hope, and maybe they don't volunteer it. In our culture in the United States, we tend to be more individualistic. We want to depend on ourselves, but also many of us hold back the deeper thoughts or emotions or needs or doubts in our life. And you never know really what someone is going through or thinking of. So be bold in sharing the gospel with people, because you really don't have to know that much about what is going on in someone's life. God's word isn't going to return void, and he is working whether you see it or not. And you may be the one to plant the seed or water it and see fruit.
And I've seen a lot of times whenever someone, whether me or someone else, is obedient to the Spirit's leading to share the gospel. And you don't know what somebody needs to hear, but the Lord does know what they need to hear in that moment. And we get to be a part of that specific testimony of, sharing a specific verse that really touches someone's heart, or sharing the good news and they really, really needed to hear that, or even just offering prayer to somebody means a lot. And so as we walk led by the Spirit, ask the Lord for boldness, because we do need boldness to share. But the Lord knows what other people need. He knows what we need, and he'll provide.
He's faithful.
He is.
Well, thank you for joining us today, for listening in. If you want to learn more about what we do, on these mission trips or what our partners do all year round, all around the world, go over to our website at internationalcommission.org and you can learn more about it, or follow us on social media, watch our YouTube, and you can learn more about what's going on day to day, see some stories from the field, and you can also find job postings so you can come and join us full time on mission. That would be awesome. You can learn how to pray strategically, how to give to help support our ministry, and how to go with us to experience some of these things for your own self. Let's continue equipping and enabling each other until everyone has had a chance to hear the good news of Jesus. I'll see you next time.